Welcome to Nisreen's Art World. I'm a dancer and a visual artist with a background in graphic art and psychology. In this podcast, I'll be exploring a variety of topics, from book reviews to dance analysis, through an artistic lens. I hope you enjoy the journey. Hello, this is Nisreen. Welcome to the 19th episode of Season 2 of my podcast. It's lovely to speak with you again. The other day, I finally finished reading Buddenbrooks, this 1901 novel by the German writer Thomas Mann follows the decline of a wealthy North German merchant family over 4 generations from 1835 to 1877. Mann drew heavily from his own family history as they too ran an insurance business. I read the English translation by John E. Woods. The story is incredibly rich, layered with social commentary and beautiful visual storytelling. In today's episode, I'd like to share 3 reasons why this classic family drama remains highly relevant today, especially for artists. No spoilers, and I hope you enjoy it. 1. The conflict between business and art. This may be the novel's central theme. In the final quarter of the story, the last heir of the Buddenbrook family, young Hanno, or little Johann, represents the archetypal wandering artist. He possesses all the traits incompatible with the ideal of a successful merchant. He is frail, dreamy, sensitive, and easily distracted. He struggles in school but excels in music. The most heartbreaking aspect of Hanno's character is his complete lack of confidence. He confesses to his best friend, Kai, quote, "What about my music, Kai? There's nothing there. Am I supposed to tour and play concerts? First, they will never let me, and second, I will never be good enough for that. I can't do much of anything except improvise a little when I'm alone. And touring would probably be awful too. It's different with you. You have more courage. You just talk around laughing at the whole thing and challenging them with your ideas. You want to write to tell people beautiful and strange stories. Fine, that amounts to something. And you're sure to become famous because you're clever. And why is that? You're happier." Unquote. I found this monologue deeply relatable. When I was his age, I also felt insecure about my artistic pursuits. I couldn't see a future in them, even though they defined my identity. This anxiety, whether art can be a viable career, remains universal today. Hanno's despair suggests he is struggling with depression, and for good reason. His entire family expects him to take over the business despite his unsuitability. Mann himself spent a short time working in his family's business, secretly writing at night. So Hanno feels like a spiritual twin to the author. The rigid German education system and its harsh teachers fail to comprehend Hanno's sensitivity, crushing his spirit under relentless pressure. This tension between personal freedom and social expectations reminded me of another German writer, Hermann Hesse, and his novels Beneath the Wheel and Narcissus and Goldmund. Does Buddenbrooks offer a solution to this existential crisis? Unfortunately, no. But I found strange comfort in the novel's brutally honest portrayal of an artist's struggles and the way social structures can crush a creative soul. One clear lesson emerges. An artist must be strong enough to break free from family expectations and, unlike poor Hannah, learn to believe in themselves. 2. The harm of gender norms. Hannah's struggles are deeply tied to the traditional male gender roles imposed upon him. He is expected to become a senator and uphold the family name, simply because he's a boy. His relationship with his father, Thomas, shows a contrast between the alpha male and a more atypical masculinity. Subtle hints in the story suggest that Hannah may experience homoerotic attraction, much like other Thomas Mann characters, such as Tonio Kroger. His closest bonds are with family members who also fail to fulfill traditional gender expectations. His uncle Christian, whose poor health prevents him from working, and his aunt Tony, whose romantic misfortunes define much of her life. I greatly appreciated Mann's exploration of women's struggles in the upper class. When Tony speaks out about the humiliation she faces as a woman, her brother Thomas dismisses her concerns. This exposes another major family conflict, the tension between women's rights and the rigid family system. Tony's youthful romance in a beautiful coastal city is one of my favorite parts of the novel. The brief sequence captures the purity of an organic connection, making the systemic sexism she later endures all the more heartbreaking. But of course, Tony is not just a victim. 3. The intersectionality of power and oppression. One character boldly points out that, as an aristocrat, Tony is blind to social inequality. He's right, and Tony is self-aware enough to admit it. Although she suffers under gender-based oppression, she upholds class-based discrimination by rejecting Christian's lover, a courtesan, and her son. Tony's deepest loyalty is to her family name. It's no surprise, then, that she instinctively looks down on lower-class women. In this sense, Buddenbrooks avoids simplistic narratives. No character is purely a victim or an oppressor. Another key moment occurs when young Hannah joins in teasing a female relative, Clotilde, and then loses himself for it. His father, Thomas, is pleased, perhaps even encouraging. This moment underscores a painful truth about power structures. To succeed in the position of power, one must learn to wield one's authority, even at the cost of others. Thomas embodies this toxic notion, but he too is a product of the ruthless business world. In that sense, he is just another victim of the system. By illustrating these interconnected hierarchies, Buddenbrooks reveals the toxicity of social structure as a whole. In today's episode, I discussed 3 reasons why artists should read Buddenbrooks. Overall, the novel offers a deeply layered, realistic portrayal of human struggles, balancing artistry and commerce, navigating societal oppression, and confronting inequality. The first part of the book may feel slow, but it's well worth reading to the end. What did you think of today's episode? I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please consider leaving a review or comment. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.